Na'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. We seek refuge in Allah from the rejected shaitan. Min hamzihi wa nafkihi wa nafthihi. And we seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Most High God, from the whispering of Satan. We seek refuge in Allah ta'ala from the illnesses that the jinn or the shaitan brings to us. We seek refuge in Allah from all forms of hatred amongst one another. We seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from any kind of mishaps that would happen to us on a course other than that with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Ismi, that the Supreme Self. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasulullah wa ashhadu anna aliyun wasi'u wa rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa khalifatun bila fasil. I bear witness that nothing has the right to be worshipped except Allah, who is unique and who has no associates. I bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his servant, slave, and his messenger. I also bear witness that the Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam is the guardian Imam that was appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that he is the wasi, he's the sole successor to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of the great sahabas, the companions of the Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We thank him for the Ahlul Bayt, the family of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May peace and blessings be upon him, as well as all the rest of them. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gracious servants that I see sitting and standing before me in the chamber. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of the listeners that is on Facebook, all of the listeners that is on YouTube, all the listeners that are on Instagram, and those who we chat with on a daily basis throughout the technology. The communications has caused a very good thing to take place. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his guidance, his love, his mercy. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything that he has given us. We also thank him for the state of being sovereign. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for being able to house us inside of a domicile, which we call the Temple of Khuket. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything that he has done for us. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you, for all of you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for your support in what we are bringing here. My name is, and my sovereign holy name is Imam Mahdi Fazail Akbar. I am the promised Messiah. And also, I want to say that my legal name in the United States court system, the Northern District, the Southern District of Illinois, as well as now the Supreme Court, God willing, even in the International United Nations International World Court in Geneva, Switzerland, I intend for the name Jurist FEAZELL to ring far and wide, based upon the assignment that has been given to me to address chattel slavery in the United States of America. My beloved brothers and sisters, I want to greet all of you in the most beautiful and divine Arabic language. And with the holy words of peace, we say as Muslims throughout the entire world, Assalamu alaikum Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings be upon all of you. May Allah's grace, His mercy, and His love embrace all of you. And may His sovereignty, His al-mulk, come to life within inside of your very being, that it may make you rise to power and experience some real, true liberation and freedom. Tonight's topic is always broad. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His Quran, His reading. We thank Him for His scriptures, inshallah, because these are the books that gives us guidance to become who we are today. I want to thank all of the beautiful sisters and the brothers who have been very supportive. The critical thinking is coming out now, and that's what I want. I want us to start thinking. I want us to start coming together and being able to dialogue with one another on these very issues that we face. This is not a time for envy, man and woman. This is not a time for that. As a matter of fact, if we find that the envy is taking place, you'll be cut off. I'm giving all of my students, all of those who follow me, that if you find people who envy you in what you're doing and who you are today, I'm assigning you with the command as the commander-in-chief to cut them off. For we understand that we are now inside of the sovereign, invincible, indigenous revolution. This is a powerful revolution that was predicted by Allah, the gods, and the ancient ancestors, the Mayans, the Inca tribes, the Olmec tribes, and all of the beautiful tribes that we find that we all come from on our own shores as native indigenous people has now come to life. So no, it is not about me waking up and becoming aware. What I see is that the native indigenous people that are the heirs and the khilafas and the owners of this domicile, which is called a maxim or al-kibulin, has come to life. In this invincible revolution, there are many topics that need to be discussed. So we say, be cool, man. Relax and have patience when you discuss these things, because there will be questions that's coming to you. I got to give a shout out to one of the sisters that I just viewed her video on Facebook. I won't disclose her because that's not what we do. We protect our women. But you may have seen her earlier that when she sent me a text on it, I said, wow, this is a beautiful thing, man. Because now you got the youth that's actually standing up, and she was actually reading from a birth certificate and explaining the birth certificate based upon sovereignty, based upon nativity, based upon slavery, based upon this and based upon that. She did an excellent job. All praise is due to Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless her soul. And this is what she said. I can tell you what she said. She says, I'm going to do this for you one time and one time only. So in other words, what the young goddess was saying, she was saying, I want you to pay attention to this, no questions, understand what's going on, and you contemplate it with your own mind and your own God. Because there's just certain things and certain knowledge that is so plain and clear that it's not even questionable anymore. You shouldn't even have a response behind it anymore. You have young goddesses that's actually coming up. The sisters is actually coming up and expounding. I talk to them all day long, man. I want to say this to the male, to the God man. You are in trouble. Because what the sisters are doing now, they either on your heels or they're surpassing you. Because you don't have this knowledge of self. And when they recognize that you don't have this knowledge of self and you want to just take religion and make religion the way of life, they recognize something and they say, hey, man, that shit don't belong to me, man. Don't you go put no religion on me. Islam is a science. I'll say it again. Islam is not a religion. It's a deen. It's a science. It must be studied. Just as it was studied by all of the great masters and brought before as a succession of prophets and masters and pharaohs. So today, this topic of sovereignty and whether or not a person can actually be sovereign or not is not even a question. You came from being sovereign to being occupied by people who were not sovereign. So naturally and organically, you are already a sovereign people on your own soil before the Caucasian enemy intervened and disabled your thinking. So when we find that the elements of being sovereign is questioned, I question the person that questions it because you never experienced it before. When your sovereign is self-rule, the legal position of being sovereign only becomes official to the enemy and his jurisdiction over the native indigenous people, or as I should say, yourselves. Because it's one thing for sure and two for certain. You got to have a birth certificate here under the rule of the jurisdiction of the United States in order for you to be classified as a slave under chattel slavery. I don't have one of those. And eventually, as we go, I'm going to show you state files, federal files, and CIA files so that you can understand that I am sovereign, bringing sovereignty to you. See, you're always thinking about the chattel paperwork that holds you. That exists, but not all of us are up under that. And I'll tell you the truth, if I was actually up under that with a birth certificate under my name, if I was under that, I wouldn't even be having these topics on sovereignty because it's hypocrisy. When you start talking about sovereignty, you got to start talking about your own flag, your own seal, and your own emblem, man. And if you're not coming with that, and if you're not able to lay that down before people, man, even before the United States Supreme Court, even before the United States District Court, even before the United Nations International World Court, if you can't lay down your demonstration before them and they say, wait, whoa, we can't handle this, we got to let up off this. Master has come. And this is a universal order. That means that this is finna work for the world, man. Finna leave your ass behind, Jack. Because you ain't ready to do nothing on a massive scale like that. You ain't ready to deal with the top 1% that I deal with right now. You ain't ready for that. I know you ain't ready for that. Because if you was ready for that, you'll be one of the individuals along with myself. Now, I'm not saying that all not, but I'm saying you'll be with me in the United States District Court fighting against the United States in reference to chattel slavery. This is some legal applications that you have to do now when you say, hey, man, listen, man, look, you need to take the paperwork that you got and you need to loose me from that paperwork. If that paperwork exists, in 99%, it's only 1% that it does not exist with per DNA. 99%, there are individuals that has to go before the judicial system or the court system before the bar and get freed and loosed from the chattel paper and dealing with this chattel slavery system. You got to go take care of your business. because these people got you on some paper that's holding you bound as a chattel slave. It's simple. But if that does not exist with you, you don't have to go through the formality of that. You just need to start standing up and claiming it. And then when you start claiming it, it's got to become a decree. And then you got to go demand to them to give you what you got coming right now. Or you're going to bring the great God Allah against them to get it anyway. This is the time and period we're in now. We're in the last days of the Caucasian rule. This is the day of judgment. So you ain't never ever heard nothing like sovereignty. I got so many followers that saying, if you could just slow down with me personally and tell me about sovereignty. I can't, baby. You got to go do your homework now. But I'm here. I got a whole staff that's ready to deal with you around the world. We got movements around the world. This thing is ready to go. So they wonder who you're tied in. I'm tied into Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the great God, who is in my being that is before you now. And now you challenge it, you're going to go down just like everybody else that went down. Man, you don't know shit about me. Period. This ain't that kind of party. We come in war to free my people. That day gone. I ain't trying to give you no soft speech. I don't need for you or anyone to accept me from what I'm doing. I'm on a mission for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And guess what? You've already lost me. So this is a very wonderful time and moment. I always speak about it being reverse hegemonic polarization. The poles done shifted. People waking up. And you have to wake up to the words of sovereignty. Now, if we're inside of the court system, you say, how do you pull your records even as a ex-offender or a offender? Or just as a normal person that's going there? Well, sir, first of all, you have to file the claim in order to address the judicial system that has you bound by the chains of chattel slavery under the rule of law of assembled jurisdiction. Look it up. One of my little queen sisters, she called me, not called me, but she texted me and she says, your lecture was great. She says, I want more of your lessons. I've never heard some of these things before. I said, all praise be to Allah, man. Even the dead is coming back to life. You don't even know one of the sisters just laid down on TV. I wouldn't even see who it is, but smoked out. Just saw it 5 days ago. No names called. We don't do that. Giving you an example. 5 days ago, smoking weed. And now she comes on the television and she demonstrating with the whole world on the birth certificate or on this and on that, and she's on point. She's accurate. But you will look down on her and call her a bitch or call her a whore. That's what you do, man. Just because you see her doing certain things, but you don't know that the sister is going back inside of her chamber. And she's studying and she's saying, I'm going to get these chumps in a minute. Yeah, I'm going to get these chumps in 1 minute, Jack. Because they've been just walking over me like I don't even exist. She tired, man. The queen tired, man. The goddess tired, man. The Muslima tired, man. Y'all done put the Muslim on the back burner. That's not the way things go, man, when it comes to the success of your nation. When it comes to the success of your empire. That woman has to get out front and take her place so that she can spread some love, some mercy, and some real knowledge, man. If you help clean her up, she'll do the same thing. You see, well, why is he so backing up the woman so much right here? Because I'm empowering our sisters. I just come from you. I come from the joint. I I know what you doing. You ain't doing shit but running around on the yard, pumping iron. That's all you doing, man. Going in the gym, shooting basketball. That's all you doing, man. So now when you come out here and these sisters that start studying on you and they just start picking these books up and going to the libraries and start getting with some of the masters and some of the masters then start demonstrating and laying down the science to them. Now you come out and think you got a woman or a broad and guess what? You ain't got nothing. Because now she done found the Messiah. And it happened like that before. That's what happened to the people. The masses was misusing the people. In every generation we see the misusing the people. They was misusing, the government was misusing the masses. That's what they was doing. Putting the female on the back burner. And then all of a sudden, even Isa Maryam or a chain of messiahs came along and caught her by the hand and say, get up, sister. Come on over here. I got you. These chumps ain't gonna do nothing. We might as well go and rule the world again with you. So the empowerment of the female is what is necessary right now. You're in the court of law and you standing before the court of law. And if you go and address your situation, you got to do that as sejurist. You cannot do that as a pro se individual. What is the difference between the two? There's a difference. For surety, this is the sovereign invincible revolution, man. This is where the knowledge comes from. What is the difference between the two? Well, sejurist means that you have the full capacity to understand the situation and deal with the situation and govern it by yourself, all by yourself, and deal with it and win. Pro se is that you still have a counselor or a defense counsel to bag you up. So you still got to lean on the enemy to get where you're going. Now, they got to get their cut out of that now. So if you get your rights to some land, some air, and some water, you got to get them a certain percentage, 40 to 50%. They become your lawyers, man. Need you. Represent myself in the court of law. If you don't believe me, look in the 3 courts of law that I'm doing right now. Stand up for myself and I can stand up for my nation. I can stand up for my empire as an obligor. Because the Caucasian did it to you. He did it in a negative way. I'm going to do it in a positive way. I'm going to feed you and raise you up right before them. And in my raising you up, come as you are. I don't need you to go put on no garb. I don't need you to go put on no bow tie. I don't need you to go do none of that. You ain't got to be looking like me when you come. We would hope that you would be dressed up. There's an adapt to this science that our women should be dressed up as well as the men should be dressed up. But if in fact that does not take place, that means that you does not have to come and join this. This is not about joining anything. This is about claiming your rights through your DNA, and you got more rights to something or this land than I got. You just ain't looked into it. You don't know how to look into it. You so caught up under the 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendments, man. You in the grave. You got to be unearthed. This is some serious talk, man. We in some serious times. I ain't got no time to be arguing with you. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm going to have you pushed out the way. Because our time has come. This is the rise to power. This is Operation Amir 0.001%. It's right here in your face. And I'm going to bring the seal, the flag, and the emblem to life right here because it is time for the operation to come to you. I talked to you the other day. Who is the Mona Lisa that I'm going up against in the Honorable Court of Law? It's Sir Juris FEAZELL versus somebody in the Court of Law. Who is he going up against? Look at this. Let's go here. It reads, this is the paperwork. This is the same seal and flag that's in the United States courts. that I've designed and drawn myself, and you see the same flag on the wall. That's what you see all around here. You see it all around here. It's real. You're seeing it all around here. It's real, and it's coming right at you. Because I got some boss people that's bagging it up, man. That's saying, no, that's real. It's time for that. We tired of all this watered down business, like I talked the other day about the bogus imams, the bogus sheikhs, the bogus ministers. Only thing they want is your bread. I ain't asked you for a dime on Facebook. I ain't asked you for a dime on YouTube or Instagram. I do not need your money. I want to free you. And I can only free you with the knowledge of self. So now when we get to the point and we look here and we say, okay, well then, how did he challenge this thing? And what are some of the seals that he used to challenge this thing? Well, this document that I put inside of the court system is called the Document of Sovereignty, Document 44.4 USA. I put it in the court system under the omnibus legal motion. And when I use the legal term omnibus or boost, it is a term that explains that you're dealing with the capacity of everything at one time. So I'm going to come with every complaint I got on behalf of me and my people. I'm going to put it before you right now under an omnibus motion, a legal omnibus motion. Here it is right here, man. Now, who did I hit with it? Got so much to show you, man, we ain't got enough tape. Because I'm winning. And when you're winning and you're defeating people through the legal system, and they understand who you are, they ain't gonna fuck with you, man. They ain't gonna mess around with you. Excuse my expression, but they don't do that with me. They ain't gonna do that with me. They'll do it with you. They ain't gonna do it with me. Because I'm gonna take some jobs. I'm gonna knock down some judges. I file complaints like that. So now, Sejuris FEAZELL versus the United States. ETAL, the Lisa of the Mona Lisa. ETAL, higher case, ETAL, lowercase. The general order number is 118 CV 6807. It's in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois. And in an international world court, the United Nations is under the Honorable Judge Paul Meyer, and the magistrate judge is Judge Madam Cox. Already filed, already in the court system. This man is challenging chattel slavery in the United States of America. And we see this man challenging all by himself. I don't need you, man, because see, the only thing you're going to do is stagnate me. Now, if you want the knowledge, I can give you the knowledge of actually what I am doing and what I have gone through, but I don't need your input on it because you ain't doing it. And you're not the person that was sent to address it. It's not your assignment. So what is the nucleus that I had to face or that I am facing right now before you, before the United States courts? Let's read the nucleus off to you so you can see how bad these people are. Giants. White supremacy. Caucasian supremacy standing before you. Everybody got robes on. So when you see me with a robe on, you figure, now why he in a robe and what is he dressed about? But you don't say that when you go before the judicial system and that Caucasian up there standing up on a 6-foot pole or a 6-foot bar is called, and he's sitting up there or she's sitting up there and saying, cite your name for me. Robed out on you. You humble yourself and lower your wing or possibly drop to the ground on them, almost bowing yourself. I ain't bowing down to no damn ground. Only time I bow and prostrate myself is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I don't mind doing that because I'm finding the results of what I'm asking for and what I got to do is right before me. So I got to check in. You may not have to check in because you ain't got my assignment. So you may not have to do that. Your faith or your deen or whatever it may be different. And you may be making it on the level that you want to make it on. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise and honor is due to Allah, whom is the Lord cherished and sustainer of the world. We wish you well. But don't get in my way. And don't get in this sovereign, invincible revolution way, because you're going to get pushed out the way. So what is that nucleus? It's called a nucleus. What is it called? So the nucleus is put together that I had to deal with. They put a nucleus together. And I addressed the nucleus. That means that the nucleus consists of federal corporations mixed with state corporations. And these federal and state corporations are the primary forces whom are behind the chattel slave, the physical slave system, as well as the chattel slave system that we see today. And their corporations and their businesses was built off of the backs of our ancestors. So this is not about you having a claim. You already have a right to something, but the only way you're going to get it is to step up and get legal, man. And the only other way that you get it is that Allah give it to you, give you the land, give you the water, and give you the air, because his creation is about to come to you. So that's the level I'm at. That's a sovereign level. I'm coming with Allah. I'm telling you that now. All this shit gonna be moved out the way, man. But I have to have something brought to you legally, so if you want to take it on legally, you can. I can show you how to do that in many lessons to come. I appreciate YouTube 100% for this. I appreciate the assistance of other individuals, the technicians that have helped me out and get me here. They simplified some things for me because they had to get me in the face of the people right now. That's the staff. So what is the Mona Lisa? What is this system that they got before you? So the first person that I had to sue was the United States President, Donald Trump. Right now in the federal court, because he's the president that's residing over the administration that is governing us as indigenous people. Talking about your religion, man, I'm talking about you being indigenous to a soil in a land so that you can get your land, water, in your air and get something back inside your pocket so that you can stop being broke around here. But you don't want it because you're content with the little less stuff that you have already. And you feel if you start doing something legal or you start speaking out, you're going to lose all that shit. I know what's on your mind. Coward. You can't stand up and fight like this. This for warriors. This for people who welcome you to come on and get busy. Ready to die in the cause of Allah. Allah Akbar. Who was the second one? It's nine seals that I had to match against. The United States President, Donald Trump. Number two, the United States Supreme Court, because it is the United States Supreme Court who has the legal chattel paperwork that's holding you under the signs of assembled jurisdiction. In our next episode, we'll begin to explain what assembled jurisdiction is, so that you can know that they have the legal chattel paperwork on you in the court system under the 14th Amendment. You're legally a slave under paperwork. It's called chattel paperwork. They don't need to have you in bondage anymore with chains here and there or chains here or there. They don't need that. They don't even need to have you in psychological slavery. They don't even need that. They have you already in slavery under chattel paper. I am addressing them right now. I know that. Loose my people. Let my people go, man. So who is the third one that's coming up after the United States Supreme Court? The third one is the United States Congress. All of these are corporations, man, whether you see them as politicians or not. They're all working against your and my demise. They're all working against yours and mine. Denationalization. They're colonizing us. They're working on their other plans for the future. Right now, dehumanized us, re-educated us, took our science, became gods, and ruled us. Well, this are wicked people, man and woman. And I intend to reveal them and set them out. That's what messiahs do. And you ain't going to be able to touch me. I'm going to be that bold with you and tell you ain't finna be able to touch me. You're going to bow and prostrate yourself and give us back what we got coming. Now, that's some bold talk. And you say, man, this brother here is speaking heavy. I ain't speaking heavy. Allah speaking to you. I'm delivering a message. That you in the days of Qiyamah, you in the days of judgment. This is the Aquarian age. This our turn. You done had your rip 6,000 years ago, man. You've been ruling for 6,000 years on this planet. That's more than enough time. So now you see many Caucasians that's turning over now and they raising up signs. I just put one on Facebook today. They're raising up signs and they're saying all of us are not racist. That's what they're saying. We're tired of the system too. Because the system, watch this here, the system even have their Caucasian brother and sister under the same slave system. As long as they have a birth certificate themselves, they are reaping nothing. That's why they're suffering. Only the top 10%, only the top 1% reaps. What is the fourth seal that we're challenging in this nucleus that consists of federal corporations mixed with state corporations that's holding you bound? What are they? Let's check them out. What are they here? Let's go with this, the fourth one. The United States Department of Justice, the Attorney General of the United States. That's Jeffrey Sessions, the one that Trump is after now. This is the one who holds your paperwork. This is the Attorney General of the United States of America, man. That's why you find most people who are trying to claim their sovereignty. I'm not claiming no sovereignty, man. I don't need to claim nothing with you. I'm going through the legalities in the court system to do something right to say that you need to let loose something to give to me. I ain't claiming nothing. And how are you going to give it to me is because I got my federal records from you when I represented myself for many years in your court system. The discovery came. And inside of that discovery is where we not only know already that we're native indigenous people and that we're sovereign to our own soil, but what's inside of the discovery is your DNA type. It says male or female, and then it says race, Indian. You're not looking at a black man. You're not looking at a Negro. You're not looking at a colored man. These are misnomer names that belongs to the chattel slave. I explained to you in one episode before the meaning of the word black. That ain't no color. But if you use the term black in reference to me saying black messiah, then I'm saying to you that this is indwelling intelligence. That's what it means according to the Kemetic science. You ain't going to be able to beat me when it comes to that. I'm light years ahead of you. I challenge you. But I ain't trying to challenge my brothers and my sisters. I challenge the enemy. You know, Satan hates me. I'm not a loved person when it comes to Satan. My brothers and sisters just got to catch on. They'll be here. I'm with you. I'm going to wait on you. I had to readdress an individual earlier today on Facebook. I say, I got you, man. Just don't get out your body with me too much. Because we're all reachable. So just because you're on Facebook and Instagram and just because you're on these videos, don't think that we can't reach out and touch you. Stop talking about people, man, and stop talking about your sisters and your brothers on this internet, man. Things is happening. Talk about this. Talk about the real people who we should be legally challenging in the legal court system. Won't you talk about that on Facebook? Start talking about sovereignty and explain like the sister did earlier. You did a beautiful job, baby. You did a beautiful job. Take it from the Messiah. You did. I took my hat to you, my love. You did a wonderful job. And you know who I'm talking about. It was boss. It was raw. And it was real. Don't even worry about the comments. Don't even worry about nothing. You just lay that lick down and you just going on living that state of sovereignty you in because you're already there. You just waiting on everybody else to catch up so you can get what you got coming. And I'm fighting on the behalf of you. Like I say, I know a name. I won't put it out here because I have not had her permission to do so. And I'm not going to do that. We don't reveal our sisters no way. We cover up our sisters. And if you come tampering around with one of them, then you are open game for us to get down on you. And we ain't got no problem with that. So now we're talking about number 4, the United States Department of Justice. The Attorney General of the United States is the 4th entity or the 4th corporation that we're suing. And we're suing them according to Title 8, United States Service Section 1481, A and 6. Now this says that you can rightfully claim according to them, you can rightfully claim your nationality in the court of law and get back your land and your water, a portion of it, because if everybody do it, we had a whole land. So I'm promoting that too. Start thinking legally how you can get in there and demonstrate, man. I'm putting it on television for you. If you continue to sign up, if you continue to watch me, I'm going to unfold this whole assignment. Inshallah, if it's Allah's will. And it is Allah's will because it's coming to life right now. Pay attention. I'm giving it to you. It's time to eat. It's time to get fed. So the nationality can be legally claimed even as you being a native indigenous person or people. Now, according to the United Nations International World Court in Geneva, Switzerland, there's already a serious article and there's already a serious law that's bagging up the native indigenous person that lives on this soil. That means that you have and I have a United Nations World Court that is supporting us 100%. Now, how do I know that? Let me get back to this. Let me pause. I know that because according to the United Nations Article Resolution 61-295, the General Assembly has in it the resolution adopted by the General Assembly 61-295 for the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. This is the United Nations. Don't you see? They bagging that up. See it right there? See that symbol? That's a symbol for the United Nations. You see that? This is already in the federal court of law. You see? So all of these rules and regulations support you and I from the international world and the international water. These people have the ability to come in and intervene on your behalf, dealing with this government and dealing with how the government is creating and treating the indigenous people. You just don't know the law. But I do. So they thought maybe when I came and I hit them at that level, that top 1%. So, man, where did this brother come from with this kind of juice? International waters. You know why? Because they looked at that DNA. They've been having it all the time and say, this is the blood of a Messiah. And when this Messiah comes, this Messiah is going to be on the behalf of all the believers in the world. And he's going to fight on the behalf of all of the native indigenous people in the world. It's systems that set up already that's fighting behind me. That's saying, you ain't gonna mess with him now. Let him demonstrate and do what he got to do. because he's in time. See, when you're in time, ain't nobody gonna fuck with you, man. I'm just gotta get it to you, partner body. It's when you out of time, it's when you could get ticked off and knocked off and things of that nature. It's when you start bickering with your sisters and your brothers, it's when you're gonna get knocked off because you done lost focus now. You done got into an argument. See, I don't have to argue with nobody. I'm sovereign. I call the shot. And the ones who follow me, my nation, executes it. Or I'm going to come before your screen. I'm going to come before your big screen. You're going to hear more and more about me. I'm just doing it like this so that I can actually be revealed to you before I step up and dominate their ass. With a mask behind me and in front of me. With the angels working on my side. And with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the great God, in the presence of me. That's why right now I teach from the temple of Khuket. The temple of light, the temple of sovereignty. It's a secluded place. So later on down the week, we'll get back more to the assignment of this, but let's return back to the nucleus. Because you got to get what you're going up against when you get into the court of law, man. So the fifth one is the Federal Reserve Bank, who got all your gold, all your money. And they know it too. See, like I told you, I've been around a couple of people that's already sold out already. They gone. The niggas gone, man. That's why I call them that. They gone. They done tucked their skirt and gone. The fight is over. They got their 30 acres of land and they living out somewhere beautiful and they gone. They got their family and they got their people, what they calling their little nation, and they doing it right. Well, I'm not on that level. I'm on a mass scale. I don't want no 30 acres in a mule. I want my turf. It's my soil. And it's only two ways I'm going to get it legally, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is finna allow it to land right in my hands. I can guarantee you that this is about to happen. You don't know who I know. And I keep saying to you, you're welcome, but I don't need you. I'm giving you the business. I'm giving you the level in which we're coming from. It's sovereign. And I'm going to keep drilling that into you until you really get it. Some of you say the word and you don't even think you can attain it because you don't even recognize that you are alien to the judicial jurisdiction that lies before you. I'm not talking to you about opposite jurisdiction. I'm not talking about that. That exists, and I had somebody earlier explain that on television. That exists. And when you start talking opposite jurisdiction, you still basically under the ties of the Caucasian, because the Caucasian gonna give you some land and water, but at any time they can pull that army in there on your ass and wipe you out. But when you're talking about sovereign jurisdiction, that is something totally different. That means that that individual, basically, I can speak for myself, is backed by the great God Allah. Now you're talking two things. The Al-Mulk, in representation and in recognition that the individual was sovereign from the beginning. They just covered up our ancestors and they just covered you up. And now you're thinking because you're still under their rule and they give you a paycheck and you do this and you do that, that means that I better sit still, man, before I lose everything. I can't take the route he taking, man, because I lose everything. Well, I'm the type of person that I'll lose it all and attain my soul. That's real sovereignty. Sovereignty is a state of existence where you can be free to do what you want to do, how you want to do it, and when you want to do it. And then you're at the point where you can bring that state of an existence to the people. Now we got heaven and earth on earth. And Isa ibn Maryam wasn't not stock for law. There was a verse or a chapter that was said by him, and he spoke about the kingdom of heaven coming to earth. He says, "Our Father who art in heaven, Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lead us not, now watch this part here. Lead us not into temptation. Allah don't lead you into temptation. Keep us from leading ourselves into temptation, and deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Heaven on earth. Who can bring you heaven on earth instead of you trying to go to heaven? Why can't you bring heaven on earth? You ain't got no power, man. I can bring you heaven. All the people that are around me right now is experiencing miracles, man. I just talked to a sister on the phone the other night. Miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle. She said, that's beautiful, man. Love being talking to you. That's what the sister want to hear. The sisters want to hear some miracle. Man, what you doing? What can you do with that breath you got? You ain't doing nothing, man. Everything you doing, you hustling hard for. You can't speak nothing into existence as a God or God body. You can't do none of that, man. So what is the nucleus that exists that Sejuris FEAZELL versus the United States in the United States court system? Who is he going up against? Let's deal with what number were we on here. We were number 5, which was the Federal Reserve Bank. We discussed that. Several of these corporations are the corporations that backs up. They refer to some of these corporations as the Illuminati. Say they all backed up and they're all together and things of that nature. And they sitting there on their big thrones and they making sure that they find the next so-called Messiah or the so-called next person that want to rise up and free his people and liberate his people. They say, we're going to kill him. We're going to kill him fast as we possibly can. So that's why I'm trying to tell you that you don't have my assignment, because my assignment entails that you're going to be in the face of some people that's actually saying to you, go get him. Go and get him, man. He didn't cross that line. That's because they didn't caught you in some BS. You're trying to do what's right. You're on this state of sovereignty. You implement the deen and you doing what you got to do. But at the same time, you still want to push some drugs. At the same time, you want to put some women out on the street and make them out of hoes and bitches. At the same time. At the same time, you want to trade and traffic with human beings. At the same time, you want to do these things. At the same time, you want to do what is right and what is wrong. I did that shit when I was getting high, man. I ain't getting high no more. It's a difference between right and wrong. It's a criterion that's there that's not. Several of you walking around dry drunk. Say he don't even smoke weed, he don't get high, nothing. But every time you turn around, you want to smack into the wall. Every time you turn around. Can't even walk a straight line. So these are some of the corporations here that actually has control of our belongings, money. And I'm seriously saying that to you. What is the sixth one? Who is the sixth one? What is the sixth entity or the corporation that has hands in on and being a force behind chattel slavery? The Internal Revenue Services. Now, this is very big because when we go into the Internal Revenue Services, the Internal Revenue Services has rules and regulations that actually backs up the native indigenous person and fights on our behalf in saying that you just can't treat this person no any kind of way. You don't believe that, do you? You thought the Internal Revenue Code was just all bad. It is not just all bad when you come to understanding it from a legality position. There's some things that's supporting you and bagging you and just saying, well, if they ever pick it up, if they ever read it, they can loose themselves with it. We are terrible people. We are devilish and demonic people, but we didn't do them that bad where we didn't leave due process around them. So they got to get up off their ass and they got to take care of the business. So what is the position in which we're talking about now? The Internal Revenue Code. There is some laws, some rules and regulations to that. Let's go with number one. Number one, we have it right here. The first seal in the petition and the affidavit that I've already put inside of the United States court system. You have to present the rules and regulations that bag you up to allow them to know that, hey, man, oh, hey, woman, I have never, ever came before you and told you that you had the power of attorney over me. Never. Watch some of these seals real quick that I put here to you in dealing with the sixth seal of the Internal Revenue Code. Now watch this here. Number one, I have never with informed knowledge consciously entered into any valid agreement of voluntary servitude. We never did that. But they're holding you bound by it. Come on, I roll with you. Number two, I am a non-resident alien with respects to the United States as that term is defined and used within the Internal Revenue Code Title 26, United States Code, and or 27, and the rules and regulations promulgated thereunder as follows. So you're saying to me that inside of the Internal Revenue Code, there are some laws, rules, and regulations that support us as native indigenous people, that we can actually bring this law and rule before the court, and the court has to address us according to the laws, rules, and regulations that is laid down by the Internal Revenue Code and its system. I am saying that. That's what I'm saying. And you don't know that because you don't have the knowledge of self. You don't have the knowledge of what is actually going on around you on this slave ship that we're on. Number three, the third seal. Hear me now, the third seal. According to the Internal Revenue Services or Code. The Internal Revenue Code Title 26, United States Code and associated federal regulations clearly and thoroughly makes provision for Americans born and living within one of the 50 corporate and sovereign states of America. Say they made provision for you born in that so that you can wake up to it and get what you got coming, but you ain't woke up to it yet. You don't know how to do it. So every now and then the Messiah got to come along, and the Imam got to come along and show you, a Mahdi got to come along and show you how it's getting done. The Khilafah got to come along and show you how to step up and get your own. That's what I'm here to do for you. It's real. Now you're all looking, you're quiet, and you're all looking and you're saying, wow, this is too deep, man. Because now I got to settle down and do what I got to do. I'm putting it on Facebook. I'm putting it on YouTube. Now sit down and study. Tune in. This is the Sovereign Invincible Revolution. It's called Operation Amir. 0.0001%. And it comes under the sovereign document of document 44.4 USA. And USA is not the United States of America. It is unlimited self-administration. This is the rise to power. And you get a people to power by raising up their consciousness. That's first. Like I say, this has nothing to do with hate. This has nothing to do with being radical. Watch that. Because you're going to lose. Allah is ready to give you back the possession of your land. You just don't know how to get it, so you fight out and you act crazy and you get radical. That's all you're doing, man. This is real prison reform. See, put this in the prisons. You want to talk about prison reform? Put everything that I'm laying down to you right now inside of the prison. That's what I did. That's how I woke up my brothers. You know how many brothers I freed from jails and prisons? And sisters. That's who I am. I can loose you when I want to loose you. Legally or spiritually. Psychologically as well. Mentally as well. Brain power. can touch you and heal. The Ali Shafan say he is a Messiah, Masih. Masih is an Arabic word that means rub and touch. Masih, mass. That's what it means. Say the man can touch you and heal you now. He can talk to you and heal you. That's a Messiah. You can't take on the term Messiah and you can't talk to nobody and heal them. You can't touch nobody and heal them. You can't speak to nobody and heal them. There ain't no Messiah. Just talking. But I can do those things and I have a history. If you check with my posse, I have a history. My nation and my empire, I have a history. Even going through the joint, I have a history of waking people up. I am number 3 states again. I want to go over this again because we need to understand seal number 3, which is in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois. It's a juris FEAZELL versus the United States in reference to chattel slavery in the United States of America. So don't you tell me that ain't nobody doing it. You can take that shit somewhere else. You lying again. There you go. Or don't nobody know how to do it. I don't even want to hear none of that. I'm in it and I'm doing it. And I'm giving it to you how to do it. So that's another lie. Number 3 reads, the Internal Revenue Code Title 26, United States Code and associated federal regulations clearly and thoroughly makes provision for American born and living within one of the 50 corporate and sovereign states of America. Makes provision for it. What kind of provision? And what is it called? To wit. Meaning that where do we go to look this up at? That we can grab this and out of the legal book system and we understand where we can pull up the legislation on it and find out and get us some help here. Here it is. To wit, section 1.87, excuse me. Yes, I'm correct. 1.871-4, proof of residence of aliens. Now, why they're calling us aliens is because they already recognize that we are not a part of their jurisdiction. So we become aliens in that right. So the statute that is cited on that, I'll say it again, to wit, section 1.871-4, proof of residence of aliens. This is in the United States Court of Law right now. Right now. As a matter of fact, here's the paperwork right here to show you that it's been filed. Praise be to Allah. It is. Show you it's been filed. Proof that it's been filed. Look at your proof. Let's look at some proof. See it there? Filed. It's filed already. Prisoner's civil cover sheet. Prisoner's case. Who is it? It's a juris FEAZELL, right? Got the numbers there. You see? Got the numbers there. Pull it up. Got the numbers there. Then it goes over here and says, who is he going against? Man, he's going against all these attorneys right now. Defense attorneys is who? The United States Attorney's Office. NDIL. 219 South Dearborn Street, Suite 500. Chicago, Illinois, 60604. What is it? United States what? Government defendants. I called them to account. Where you at? What you doing? Where you at? What you doing? But see, that's what I'm saying. People who are operating like this, you want to talk about them, but in actuality, I'm fighting on your behalf. And you know what the people have already said to me? A couple of judges have already said, why don't you take these millions, man, and go and do what you going to do? Well, that's why the project is called 44.4 USA, because I'm suing them for $44.4 billion of land, air, and water. I want some gold. I want everything back you took from me and my people. I'm in the court of law with that right now. Ain't nothing no chump change, man. And then I supposed to be getting more than that. But I ain't done yet. Because now that I'm out of prison, there are other attorneys that's around me that are believers that's saying, let us get that out you, man. Let us take this and go and do what we got to do. Just met with some of them at the mosque Friday. Just met with some of them at the mosque Friday. I deal with some heavy shakers, man. I deal with people. I'm going to get some things done. The people's over like the Attorney General of Illinois, Lisa Manning. And I deal with people like that. I got phone calls, a phone call away, man. Ebony Lucas on the low end of Bronzeville, the fourth district. The fourth ward, I should say. Friends, man, rubbing shoulders with them. Making sure that they get in certain places that we can continue to do what we do. I come from the land of Barack Obama, 43rd and Lake Park, right up the street, High Park. When he was a senator, it was us that put him in office. See, these kind of things, I'm trying to tell you that when you are a person that comes through the ghetto, people need you, man. And now when you get ready to step up and demonstrate how you want to demonstrate, them same people bag you up, Jack. And excuse my expression to the world. You know what they say? Don't fuck with them, because you fuck with them, we're gonna drop the heavens down on you. So now you may call that plug. I'm calling that science of how I'm going to help you get free. So somebody got to be able to deal with people on a very high level. I'm the president of my own company. The president of my own nation. The president of my own empire. Running for no president of the United States of America. That's going down. And when I say going down, I'm saying it's already